And that was my interview with the Geddes Town Democratic candidates. This is a great slate out there, so check it out. Next week on my Zoom with Czarny on Thursday will be the Solvay Democratic candidates. Solvay is a partisan village that runs candidates on traditionally on the Democratic and Republican line, and we have a full slate of Solvay Democrats that are running to retake the Solvay Democratic board. And Solvay is part of the Town of Geddes, so I wanted to do these back to back. So check that out. My commissioner in the car next week will be about the Onondaga County budget and the process there. Now that we're getting into the budget season, and this is the budget for the 2024 presidential election, so it's very important. My weekly walk this weekend will be Onondaga County Legislative District 7. I hope that I'll have that done and I'm back on my regular schedule here. So check it all out. Remember to go to dustinczarny.com. You can subscribe and get notifications anytime we put content or election news updates. Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye. And I'm back. I'm very happy to have my good friend Maryanne Grady, who's running for supervisor in the town of Geddes, along with Tracy Walker, Alanna Zimmer, and Mark English, who are running for town council. Now, unfortunately, Maryanne Grady has a prior commitment at the time of taping this. And so I'm just going to turn this over to her. She's got a little statement to read to introduce you, and then we're going to get into the interview with the town council candidates. But Maryanne, thanks for coming on Zoom with Czarny, and take it away.
Thank you, Dustin. Hi, fellow people on the Democratic Committee running for councilors. My name is Maryanne Grady, and I'm running for the Town of Geddes Supervisor. I have lived in Westvale with my husband, Bill, for 30 years. I attended the University of Delaware, was a teacher with DOIC, worked with postdocs in solar energy research, audited underground storage tank systems for possible remediation, worked for the newspaper, and retired from the Zimmer-Redmond Center. My history includes managerial and supervisory positions with employees and independents. One of the reasons I'm running is because of the fantastic slate of candidates running for councilors: Alanna Zimmer-Redmond, Tracy Walker, Mark English, and in Solvay, Deb DiGilio, Chuck Orr, and Joe Michon. I believe that a true leader recognizes the strength of their office by the team that supports them. Some of my goals I'm going to go through now. One of my goals is to explore ways to make town meetings and committee meetings more neighborhood inclusive. Participation is important to support growth. We need to look at the bidding process and make sure there are no bid contracts going out. Public safety. We are 3 separate communities, Lakeland, Solvay, and Westvale, with different but similar concerns. Safety on our streets and properties with law enforcement assistance. Make our neighborhoods more secure. Let's make sure they are funded and their ranks are sufficient to do the job. Zoning needs to be looked at. Are you sure there won't be a bank or a smoke shop in your backyard? Codes. We need a strong codes enforcer. It's not a pick and choose issue. Infrastructure. We have a good start on our roads, but the process is slow and very random. How about the new street lights and the repairs and the repositioning? Taxes. Are we getting the most for our hard-earned tax money? Should the town make up new positions for ex-employees? Shouldn't we be looking at enhancing current employees' positions with support and fair pay? Once elected, I will follow through with these concerns, hopefully with the town's citizens' participation. I will listen to your concerns. I will act with diligence and act according to town procedures. Let's get neighbors and active in our town. Thank you. Thank you, Dustin.
And now I'm very happy to have our Geddes Town Council candidates, Tracy Walker, Mark English, and Alanna Zimmer, who are now joining us for this part of our podcast. Geddes Democrats, thank you so much for coming on Zoom with Czarny.
You're welcome.
So
Thank you for the invite.
all 3 of you are running for town council. There's 3 seats up Gedddes is for those of you who've been following my stuff on my website, I did a weekly walk on Gedddes a few weeks back, and it really is a town that is on the verge of being able to elect even more Democrats. We were able to elect a Democrat to the town board 2 years ago, and we've had some closer races in the past. And in the past, we've actually had control of the town council. But now the three of you are running, and in 2023, you're up this year. And if you're able to win, that would actually be a majority for Democrats on the town council. We've seen this happen in Manlius. We've seen this happen in DeWitt, where you win one and then you win a few more, and then all of a sudden we have majority. And Gedddes seems ripe for that. That's why I wanted to have you on, because I think I think we're having a moment out there. But I'm gonna, but people don't know you. Not everybody who I know you've been working hard hitting doors. So why don't we start with that? We'll start with you, Tracy. Tell me a little bit about Tracy Walker, a little bit about your background.
Great. Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm Tracy Walker. I have been living in Westvale, the town of Geddes, for 21 years, raised my two beautiful boys who are now 23 and 20, graduated from West Hill. I grew up over just a few streets over in Fairmount, and have been lucky enough to have some of the best neighbors in all of central New York on my streets and blocks that have helped to support me over the years. And I still am a working mom. I am a social worker by profession, and I have a background primarily in supporting children and families to hopefully avoid any kind of child protective services, to make sure families are in safe, affordable houses. I now teach social workers, graduate and undergraduate social workers, and I am really appreciate being a part of this slate.
And Mark, we'll go over to you. Tell us a little bit about Mark English.
Okay, I'm a life resident of Onondaga County. I grew up on the west end of Syracuse. I've been in Geddes 23 years. I was an industrial worker for 8 years at Krauss Heinz. I worked in the iron foundry, the aluminum foundry there. I was a union rep. When I was 36 years old, and my job was outsourced, and I was so desperate I had to go to law school. And I practiced law for the next 31 years. And while practicing law, I was a member of the board of directors of the Bar Association. I was county chairman of the Onondaga County Democratic Party for six and a half years. And that's my thumbnail sketch.
Oh, that's good. It's a lot in that small amount. You've done a lot for our community. And Alanna Zimmer-Redmond, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay. Well, I've lived in Westvale for 25 years. Have 3 children, all attended West Hill. I started, like a lot of kids out of high school, you don't really know what you want to do. And parenthood came upon me and life. And I was injured and out of work for 5 years. Went back to school and ended up heading up to SU and was able to achieve my bachelor's in social work. And I'm currently a care manager supervisor with prime care coordination. I work with people with developmental disabilities. It's my passion. I understand, although my disability was physical, I understand how that affects people's lives on so many levels. But here I am, got my career going and love what I do and looking forward to running.
Yeah, and thank you so much for running, and thank you all 3 of you for running, because local politics is not something that's glamorous. You're not going to get famous. By the way, you're not going to get famous. You're not going to get rich off of it. In fact, you'll probably spend more money than the meager salary that a town board or town council will give. But you are running, and I think people would like to know why you're running. So we'll start with you, Mark. Why run for Geddes Town Council?
Okay, Dustin, all my adult life, I've represented people. And when I worked at Cross Signs and those foundries, it's very dangerous. Many accidents involving amputations, even deaths, besides the typical what people hear about wages and benefits and things like that. Sometimes it was the life and death matters that we dealt with. And it doesn't get any more personal than that. And when I went to law school, of course, that was my job, was to represent people. And I stayed working with the party as a committee man, and till I was hauled off the street and anointed county chairman, which was a really fine time in my life. I think the union work and they're really in the legal practice. I represented children as a law guardian, and my work as a Democrat, those are defining moments for me. My wife, Kathy's been very supportive. My children and grandchildren are supportive. So, and I don't have a job right now, so I'm retired. And I'm looking forward to, I believe that I have talents that the town can use, and I can use the input from the town and working with people again.
That's awesome. Yeah. And Alanna, I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself and tell me why you're running for town council.
Well, Dustin, as you know, I grew up in a political home. Mel Zimmer was my father, and it's time. It's time for me to put on those shoes and his hat. And my children are all grown, and I have the time to be able to, use the skills that I have learned for my current job, all my experiences I bring to the table. I have a strong voice. I'm a very strong advocate. And I'm ready to put those active listening skills in place. I'm ready. I'm ready to hear what the town of Geddes wants to see and needs.
Yeah, and I think they're ready for you too. I mean, it's so. Tracy, your turn. Tell us why you're running for Geddes Town Council.
Absolutely. Like Alanna and Mark, I grew up in a family and with parents who were very involved in the politics of our communities, raised by a union electrician who became business manager, who taught me all along the way, get involved with your community, pay attention to what's happening in your community and make sure that the community is taken care of. I have had so many benefits raising my family and living here in the town of Geddes, Westvale, and have come to a place in my life where I feel like I have the time, the energy, and the talent to give back to the community. I really believe strongly in civic responsibility and public servant mentality, and wanna step up to that and feel really strongly about that. So I look forward to seeing what everyone has to say out on the campaign trail in the turfs and learn more about what our community members need, want, and how to help.
That's amazing. Yeah, and all three of you have a diverse background. You're going to be bringing different talents to the table, and you come from different parts of Geddes as well. And Geddes is actually, somewhat large town. It has the largest village in it in Solvay, and we'll be talking to those candidates next week. But Geddes is there's a lot of different areas to Geddes with a lot of different needs. So that's what I'd like you to talk about now. So, and we're going to start with you, Alanna. Tell us a little bit about what do you think Geddes needs right now? What are some of the things why are you running? What are you hoping that that you think that maybe hasn't been done as well as you would like and would like to be addressed?
I'd like to see a young voter turnout. I am a mom to not only my children, I'm a mom to many of my children's friends. And I hear them talk about politics and being discouraged with parties, and they look up to me. I want to see them become active. I want to see them get to, the polls. I want them to be involved. I think bringing in our youth can be very beneficial to our community. We need to make them feel like they are a part of it, that they're not just kids, that they have a voice and they are smart and they have ideas that I'd like to be able to support and advocate for. So there's so many more issues, Dustin, I know that people want to see, but I'd really like to see a greater turnout from younger kids.
And Tracy, we're going to go to you. What are some of the things that you think that Geddes can improve on right now?
Yeah, and I'm going to start with, I think that the town of Geddes has incredible strengths. I am from a perspective of building on strengths, whether those are the community strengths, the family strengths, the strengths that the town employees bring to the table, and really supporting all that the town of Geddes is already doing. Recognizing, of course, there's always areas, right, that we could be doing a little bit better in. And two of my real passions are focused on the youth of our community, children, youth, particularly supporting families. So when I think of our REX program, our Parks and Recs program, what more could we do to really make it accessible and available to all community members, not just the village of Solvay, who I think have benefited greatly from that center, but also Westvale, Lakeland, really having the best Parks and Recs supports for our community members. Our seniors, making sure our seniors, our elderly folks in the community have connections. We know the more social interactions outside of the home that they have, the more independent they will stay. And I see community as a part of really enhancing life. There's other areas. I agree with Maryanne. We've got to look at bidding. We have to look at how we're making decisions around who we're contracting out to, and making it fair, and making sure that we have those 3 bids so that we really take into consideration what's our best bang for our buck. And there's, like Alanna, many more. That just gives you a little snapshot. And I'll talk more along the way around what else is really important to me.
And Mark, going to you, what are some of the things that you think that Geddes can do a little bit better right now? You're gonna have to unmute to start with that.
Communicate a lot better between the citizenry and the government. There seems to be an insular attitude, and I'd like to see that improved. The absentee landlord situation is very bad in Solvay, becoming worse in the rest of Geddes, and that drives up the cost of housing, but it also diminishes the quality of the housing and the affordability. The infrastructure needs work, and we have to have safe neighborhoods, safe residential neighborhoods that are strictly residential. And there's a lot of federal money coming in, Democratic money driven by the Democratic Party. And I think that Geddes needs an advocate that knows where to look for that money and how to bring it into the town.
So thank you, Mark, and thank you all of you for that. So obviously there's a lot of campaigning, and that is on our way here. You know, you're already starting, and you've been out there for a while, but hopefully, November 7th comes about and the voters put you in. I kind of want to know what you think that you're going to have your first term be focused on. I think that's something that people want to know. What are you going to? It's one thing to say, there's all these problems, but there's another thing to actually, accomplish something with it. So, what are you hoping to address in your first term? And we're going to start with you, Tracy.
Great. Well, I have a philosophy in the work that I do as a social worker, but in my life, seek first to fully understand. And I really feel, I'm new. I'd be new to the town board. And I think that I have the humility to recognize there's lots to learn. There's lots to understand. So I'm hesitant to say this is what I'm going to do right away, because I think I need more information around what's happening already. I do recognize we have a great grant writer. I want to know what grants are getting written for, how we're tapping into the money that Mark is talking about. Are there other ways that we could be bringing in revenues? Because the reality is, to support the programming we have, the infrastructure, the parks and recs, our police, we need those revenues, and we need to really think about creatively, how do we bring that money in and really benefit from the state, the federal funding that is coming as a result of all the advocacy at those levels with the Democrats. So seek first to fully understand, listen to constituents, listen to the other board members, have a better understanding of the different perspectives and points of view that everyone is bringing to the table. And then interview me after that first, half time there, and I'll tell you more around where we need to be going.
And Maryanne, Alanna, same question to you. If you are so lucky that you are asked to serve as a town council member, what do you think your first term is going to be about?
Well, let's just talk about the fact that if I am elected, it's going to provide that equilibrium that we need. We have to change the numbers on the board. So, that initially is going to be a plus. Utilizing my strong advocacy skills, to listen to what constituents would like to see. I'm going to piggyback off Tracy. I am coming in. This is my first run. I am always willing to learn and listen and improve on whatever I need to. Be the strong voice for those who feel they don't have a voice. I'd also like to touch base on something that Maryanne said about really including the neighborhoods into these meetings that we hold. This is not a select few that when we meet. This is about all of the Democrats in the town of Geddes. And we're becoming a very diverse town. And so let's understand one another. And let's bring everyone in. Everyone has a voice to be heard.
And now we go to you, Mark. If the voters are so wise to put you on to the town council and you are serving, what are you hoping to do in your first term? And remember to unmute. You need to unmute, Mark. Sorry, you need to unmute. There you are.
Okay. I'm not going to grab a wrench and fix every problem that comes up. I'll do what I've always done, and I'm pretty skilled at. Is listen, determine what the problem is, find out who can fix it, and communicate with those individuals or groups to fix these problems. But listening is my running mates have said is the key thing. And how to pay for it. I'm familiar with many governmental and statewide and countywide and townwide political and business leaders. I'm used to dealing with them and trying to enlist their aid. So I think I have something that I can give back to Geddes that's given so much to my family.
That's great. So, we can't really I just asked a question that skipped ahead of the campaign, but let's talk a little bit about the campaign. It's a diverse town. It's a lot of different neighborhoods to talk to. So even though I know many of you have been planning this all year, but town candidates kind of get in later, and so we have a short window now to the election. What are some of the things you're going to do to try to reach out to voters? And we'll start with you, Alanna. And you'll have to. Yeah,
I was waiting for my unmute button, Dustin. Sorry for the delay.
good.
I'm hitting the pavement. I love people. I got the gift of gab. Ask Mark of that. No, I want to knock on doors. I did it as a kid. I love it. I want to meet people. I genuinely want to know and meet people where they are at. I want to know what their concerns are. I was in Lakeland the other day and I was honest. I said, I'm not familiar with Lakeland. Tell me about Lakeland. Tell me what you need, and it was really great being able to sit there. I even left one of the houses with a nice sprig of basil. It was great. So knocking on doors, that's my that's going to be my strong point. We're going to have some meet and greets coming up, and I'm looking forward to that as well.
And now we'll go back to you, Mark. What is your plan over the next 6 weeks to campaign? What are you hoping to do?
Well, I'm walking 5 days a week. I'm hoping that we can establish an internet presence. In order to facilitate that, we're having a fundraiser at the Bridge Street Tavern on October 11th. $35. We want all the Democrats to get out and support that. And I just think that touching base with the voters, reaching them in whatever ways possible, and just keep your head down and keep moving. Satchel Paige said, never look behind you, something might be gaining on you. So we don't want anything gaining us. Also, I'm very proud of the people I'm running with. And I think that part of our zeitgeist is to work together as a team and move the ball forward.
Yeah.
And then finally, Tracy, we got just a few weeks left here. What are you planning on doing to get your message out to voters?
All of the above. Alanna, Mark, have talked about some of the big things, going door to door, introducing myself, fundraisers, Bridge Street Tavern fundraiser on October 11th. Come. If any community members, voters want to have a coffee, a meet and greet, please get a hold of me. I'm on Facebook. Alanna, Mark, and I, and Maryanne, we meet regularly to talk about how we can get out the vote, really be interactive with our community. So any ideas that people have out there where we should be at, where we should be showing up, we want to hear from you.
So we're getting towards the end of this podcast that people usually listen to, but I always like to have this one final question, and that is, what haven't we talked about? So this is like kind of a free space for you to talk about yourself, your dog, whatever, or the town of Geddes and what you want to do in the campaign. So we're gonna start with Mark. And Mark, so what is something that we haven't talked about that you want the voters to know? And remember to unmute.
There we go, right? Okay. We've talked about, and I've talked about my experience reaching across the aisle and dealing with members of the opposing party, but it's really important that Democrats get elected. It's not just a state or national, it's local, and the future of the democracy is at risk. So it's important to elect Democrats and in all capacities. And that's something that's always in the back of my mind.
And Tracy, we'll go to you. What haven't we talked about today?
I've got to agree with Mark here. Really thinking about where we are as a community politics, and how important it is to have representation across the aisle, and being at the table, it is essential. One of the things I want to say, that I have a deep, deep value for the worth and dignity of all individuals, and represent with that perspective in mind. Believe in the reality that there are people who are kept away from the table, and I really feel strongly that I need to be a person who really opens that table up, adds a little bit more table to the one that's originally there, so there's more seats around it, and voices to really share that part of my value is really important to me.
And Alanna, you get to close this out. What haven't we talked about that you want people to know? You got to unmute. Oh, there you go.
Oh, I know. It's the delay. It's not me.
Yeah, I know. It's what 3 years of doing this, and we're still getting used to it. But
Yeah, I really think we talked. I think we talked about a lot. Part of my drive is sustainable living. Our elderly and our disabled are most vulnerable people in our society. And we didn't talk much about, we touched base about infrastructure, walkability of Westvale, green space, Westvale Plaza. It's a little dilapidated. How about, what happened to the grocery store in Westvale Plaza? Just a few things that we didn't talk about. Talk about infrastructure, but in particular, and again, team. We are a team, right? Maryanne is running for supervisor. It reminds me, I'm a supervisor, and I go to my supervisor, and my team comes to me when they need that lead. And Maryanne has been amazing. She's been available. She's given me great feedback and suggestions. And then I have this slate with Mark and Tracy, who are intelligent, strong-minded people that really are going to be able to bring a lot. Us as a team, it's impressive, to say the least, who I'm surrounding myself with right now.
Well, I think you guys are an incredible slate. It's exactly what town politics is about, is putting together a group of with a diverse background and coming together to just try to make their area a little bit better to live in for their fellow citizens. So I want to again thank you for running, because it's hard to do this. It's you don't get paid while you're campaigning. You may get a small salary, when you win, but it's going to be you're going to spend way more just for the honor of attending some monthly board meetings and having your phone ring off the hook with all your constituents. So thank you. Thank you again. And thank you for coming on Zoom with Czarny.
Thanks, Dustin.
Thank you, Dustin.
Hello and welcome to Zoom with Czarny. Today is Thursday, September 28th, and I'll be interviewing the Town of Geddes Democratic candidates. We have a pretty full slate running out there in Gedddes, running for Supervisor and Town Council, and so stay tuned for that interview. I took last week off as I was in LA, and it was really hard to do the recording. I always seem to underestimate how hard the technical aspect of doing this type of recording is on the road. So sorry for that, but I'm back on my weekly schedule this week. We're going to find out later today what the budget is for the Onondaga County and the Board of Elections. This is going to be probably something that is going to be disappointing, unfortunately, but I'm hopeful that some of the money that the county executive decided to arbitrarily cut from our budget request is put back in, but we'll have to see what the legislature does. And I'll be talking a little bit more about that next week. Absentee ballots have gone out for the general election. And finally, we're right in the general election swing this year. So, if you need anything, go to onvote.net. You can get all your information to get an absentee ballot or check your registration to see if you're registered to vote. We have a few days until that happens. October 28th is the registration deadline, but don't wait. Do it now so you can vote on the machine when you go to vote, whenever you'd like to vote. If you do it now, we'll definitely have it processed by election day, but probably even processed by early voting. So check that out. All right. Enjoy my interview with the Geddes Town Democratic candidates. Bye-bye.